So, okay, just making sure I'm recording. Yes. So speaking about, the world of sound effects is huge, and a lot of this can be studied. And we have mixing and editing classes, and we have the whole sequence of studio techniques in the music department. So it's a huge field. I'm kind of taking a very specific aspect, which is more of a creative manipulations of sounds, or taking a sound effect and kind of extending this to a level that is a little bit beyond what a normal just processing of the sound would be. So, so the sonic strategies that the book is providing some examples of how you can kind of gradually increase the level of abstraction or processing of a sound to the level that it takes something that exists in the real world and creates something totally new. So these are examples that you're welcome to explore step by step. Okay, and I'll just take maybe let's just take this one example, the first one, and listen to this, and then I'll kind of explain what actually is happening. Okay, so if we listen, the first example, okay, will be, or the first thing we hear will be the overall example. I mean, what is the outcome, or the overall, basically. What I mean overall means it's just the outcome of the whole process, and then we'll listen to the different steps of how this thing was processed. So let's start just with the sound so we can get an idea. Sorry. This example, kind of take back my explanation. These are the different sounds that are provided here, and then we'll explore just one of them. So here are the different sounds that he created by processing existing sounds. So the first one was electric toothbrush, shower, pencil sharpener, TP roller, tap drain release, electric shaver, bath scratch. But these are the new results. Okay, so let's listen to this again, starting with the first one, which, let me go back. That'll be the digital whirlwind, which is the electric toothbrush. There's Diamond Creek. Oh, sorry, that was TP drain release. Okay, so what we had here, just like make sure that I'm sharing this sound. Yes. So what we had these like sound effects. You can imagine some of them being used in some kind of horror movie or in a game. Some might be incorporated in different contexts. It doesn't have always to be this kind of scary, unrecognized, unfamiliar sound, although maybe one of the early reactions is really, it's something unfamiliar, so it's more stressful. So let's take the first one, the electric toothbrush, and hear it again, and then see how it is being processed step by step. And the idea is that you take the original recording, you extract the clip, Then you do some kind of a processing, the 300 hertz peak. This is again something that we can do in Audacity, or create this narrow band filter. You apply a chorus effect, pitch bend, and pitch bend too. If you're kind of worried that you don't know how to do this, again, I'm kind of emphasizing here that this is not, you're not expected to be doing these things for either any more homework or the final project. But I mean, I would like you to kind of understand how these things work. So as part of the quiz, I mean, there's some questions about understanding that these are all ways of processing sounds. So let's hear the different steps. That's the final. That's the original. This is the segment. Now it's high filter. Now it's a chorus. And now you change the pitch. Okay, so you can imagine that by applying these steps, you can totally distort and change the nature of the sound. Now, how would you basically do this? You would need a software that actually allows you to do some of these processes, and not every software has all the right plugins available, but you can imagine that with some of the tools that we have let's say in Audacity, you can actually process some of these sounds. So we'll kind of stop here this introduction and advise you just kind of to go through these examples, and if you want to experiment with them, if we go to, let me see if I can switch the screen to Audacity. Let me start Audacity and then switch the screen quickly. Let me quickly see. Can you see the Audacity screen? I mean, it's this gray, or I'm still on the page. Yeah, okay. So of course, if we take any of these sounds, right, and just making sure that I'll be able to record this from the microphone. I don't know if we'll have a problem then sending this out. Right now I'm listening with my headphones. But if I take and I record anything in Audacity, then we have on the menu, let me move this little thing, we have a lot of effects that are available here, okay? So if we want, for instance, to change the pitch, to change the speed of what I spoke, if we want to do some sort of equalization or change, equalization means we can basically do some kind of a filtering. So we can basically decide if we want to extract one frequency band, or we can create some kind of interesting low or high pass filters and process the information through them. This all exists here, okay? Again, it might take some time to kind of find exactly what you want to do, what you imagine in your sound, how well it actually corresponds to these tools. But even basic things like changing speed, changing pitch, and adding echo, which will basically give this kind of a repeated versions of the sound that can totally distort the effects. Reverb, which is kind of the room size. These are kind of fun stuff to explore. So this is kind of a part of the tools that not only the studio engineers or the composers who work in this domain and creatively manipulate recordings use. One of the things that the early middleware in the software that kind of bridges the sound to the game engine. Actually, they started more as tools to manipulate sound effects and less as a compositional tools. So things like audio kinetic device or even F mode, they do allow you to do the adaptive composition techniques, which is manipulating clips and mixing them or repeating them in different ways. But also, I think the main motivation for this software initially was that these were engines that could also process the sounds creatively. And some of the processing would be just limited to specific effects like reverb, which changes the room feeling. So kind of understanding these different engines will help you also kind of see where, you know, where is the comfort zone of each one of these softwares, but also where you can go a little bit beyond this and really that today in the games, the meaning of what is composition, what is sound design, what is sound effect, and what is basically sequencing becomes blended very much, kind of one continuum. So let me stop the recording and answer some questions.